একটা জিনিস।
Viewers, welcome to ABC Real-Time Talk Show, being anchored by me, Sinha MA Sayeed. Today we'll discuss on many things, especially on election to the 12th Parliament in Bangladesh, economic standing at this very moment, and that very much pugnacious situation between Awami League and BNP in Bangladesh, centering the election to the 12th Parliament. Well, we have the guests today from different countries, and we start from Mr. Ashraful Islam. He is a political economist and activist. He is from France. Mr. Boby
Thank you.
Hajjaj, Chairman, National Democratic Movement. He is from Bangladesh. Professor Mir Ahasan Kabir. He is a professor at the University of York University and University of Toronto, Canada. And Mr. Tanvir Shakil Joy, Member of Parliament belonging to Awami. And Mr. Munir Hussain, Secretary, Australian Federation Party. He is from Canberra, Australia. Well, let us start from Mr.
Hello everybody, how are you?
Tanvir. Mr. Tanvir, how are you?
Yes. Yeah, fine. Thank you. Thanks for having me on this talk show.
Thank you very much. We have a lot of talks here. So first of all, let me start from the very basic point. You know very well that election to the 12th Parliament is very nearing at the door. And centering this election, so many things are taking place, especially in the light of geopolitics, geoeconomics, and so many things. What are your observations whether the election will be peaceful or there will be a debacle in this field? Mr. Tanvir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saeed, for having me on this talk show, and salam to everyone, to all the participants. It's a very important question, and it's a very crucial moment in the history of the politics of Bangladesh. As we know that the 12th, Parliament election is approaching. Hopefully, inshallah, it will be held on the first week of January 2024. And from the beginning, I think always election is a very, I would say, very exciting moment for Bangladesh politics. Whenever we have an election, national election, there will be turmoil, there will be debacle, there will be, I would say, unfortunately, some violence, and there will be a lot of, political excitement across the board. So that's not a very abnormal thing, I think, if you look at the history of Bangladesh, and especially countries in this Southeast Asia. So I think that's a natural process. That's nothing to worry about. And our Honorable Prime Minister already reiterated her strong standing that this government is fully committed to make sure that the upcoming poll is free, fair, and impartial, and also the government is strongly committed to help the election commission to make sure that the election is as much peaceful as it is possible, as it can be possible. So I think the time running up to the election, definitely there will be a lot of political changes going on, and a lot of political bargaining, lot of political agitation, because all the political parties, they have their different perspective about election. And definitely for any political party, election is the only process to participate in a democratic process and to come into power to serve the people. So I think all the political parties are eager to join the election, but definitely they have their difference of opinions, how the election should be conducted, how the level playing field during the election time should be. But I think when the election time is near, and especially after the election schedule is supposed to be declared at the first or second week of November, after that, I think things will be changed, because all the political parties and the whole atmosphere in Bangladesh will be focused on the upcoming election. And though that time, I think a lot of complexities that we have now will be sorted out, and we strongly believe and hope that the upcoming 12th Parliament election will be a good one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tanvir Shakil. Mr. Munir Hussain, you are from Canberra, Australia, and you are the General Secretary of Australian Federation Party. So, being in touch with the mainstream politics, how do you view the election to the Royal Parliament in Bangladesh? As a Bangladeshi
Sorry,
also.
I can't. Well, thank you. Good morning, everybody, because my time is 18 past 3 a.m. And thank you, you having me on early morning talk show. I think Bangladesh will be, this time will be very fantastic election in a history, because I'm 65 years old. I have seen a lot of election, including Australia. I mean, 3 decades here and 3 times. And there is a 14th of this month, October, they have a referendum. They already announced 63% no, 37% yes, 8% silent. So this country is a different way for this referendum. But here also, prime minister election every 3 years, senator election 6 years, and local MLA 4 years. So in Bangladesh will be fantastic election this year, and hopefully it will be peaceful, and everybody have to be joined and together. In Australia, when is the national thing anything, they all together. Australia have 10 party. So when is the national crisis, they all together joined like this, cross finger together they start. But hopefully this time my all Bangladeshi people are all the party, they will join, and they will create a nation of the Bangladesh in the world. They will see, yes, they have done, properly done. And I am praying for everybody, they will come to join. Hopefully everybody will go peacefully election over there. That is my exams. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Munir Hussain. Mr. Ashraful Islam, you are from France, and you have been there for a long time. You are a social activist at the same time political analyst. What is your understanding?
Thank you, Mr. Sinha MA Sayeed, for inviting me in this talk show. This is the first time I am with you. Just I would like to inform or discuss about the coming election. 2014 and 2018 election situation and 2024 is not same. You know, the internationally, day by day, everything is changing. And our election in Bangladesh, under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, inshallah, next election will be free and fair and must be happened, because Sheikh Hasina already said before, you know, the coming election, not using her name and his fame. Everybody should come with his individual image, charisma, and capability, not depending on Sheikh Hasina. So she want very before to come and take preparation about election. It's clear. And next election will be a remarkable election in this history of Bangladesh. For internationally, it would be recognized, I think, and I confident all opposition party will be participated in this election, and Awami League will try the best. And Sheikh Hasina is trying, but some other people, others party, new created party, all are interested about the coming election. But in Bangladesh history, there are a lot of political situation crisis comes after one and after one, and it is intentionally or dirty politics also used in this Bangladesh political situation. Now, our panelist, one of my Mr. Boby Hajjaj, he created a new political party. Everybody wants and expecting they will get something new. I also personally support the newcomer, new generation will give the nation something new. So I'm waiting for seeing the result. And everybody also are waiting for this coming election, what the real result will get or nation will get. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashraful Islam. Well, before going to Boby Hajjaj, because he is chairman of a political party at the same time, he is very vocal in Bangladesh. I must talk to Mr. Professor Dr. Ahasan Kabir. You are an politics teacher at Ecopolitics. It's a new subject also. So please try to analyze the whole thing in the light of economic landscape in Bangladesh. Please, Mr. Ahasan Kabir.
Thanks to Allah and Assalamu alaikum to everyone who are watching this show and all the participants. Thanks, last but not the least, the anchor Mohamed Sayeed to invite me to this program. It is a very honor to be here and join with everyone to discuss current political situation in Bangladesh. We are going through, not only in Bangladesh, the whole world is going through a very challenging time, one after one. COVID, then war between Ukraine and Russia. Now we are even further uncertain situation from last couple of days. We have to wait and see how it goes to international economy and eco-politics. And at the same time, we are very close to the national election of Bangladesh. So it's a very interesting time. For last almost 15 years, we have the current political party running this government. So this time, what will happen, we have to see and we have to wait. In Bangladesh politics, we have a very common word that there is no last word from the politics. Anything can happen at last moment. So first of all, I need to also clear, I am not directly or indirectly related to any political party in Bangladesh. I am simply a economics student who is very concerned about Bangladesh and Bangladesh politics and election. So I have an advantage, and at the same time, disadvantage in this type of talk show. The advantage, I am neutral, so I can say a lot of things, but you cannot say because you have some ideology or identity within the political system. So even if you believe something, you cannot say because you have some obligations, but I don't have. But the challenge for me is, even if I said the truth, in Bangladesh, the two party or the two major parties is so much divided. So if I say something about development, then everyone will say, okay, he is motivated from one party. If I say something about human rights, then another party will say, oh, he is motivated from the another group. So there's the challenge. So, but honestly, I'm not directly or indirectly related to any political party. And as everyone, general people, I'm also waiting for a peaceful election in Bangladesh. So let's start the discussion first round. Then we will discuss more about specific issues in Bangladesh and international world. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Mr. Boby Hajjaj, you have plotted a political party named Nationalist Democratic Movement, and by this time, everybody knows it because of your stature, your image, and everything. And at home, you are widely respected by all. Especially, I like you very much. What is your overall assessment that is going on in Bangladesh at this very moment?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to everybody who is a speaker on the show today, and my salam and regards to everybody who's in the audience who's watching online anywhere in the world. I start by thanking Dr. Saeed for inviting me and for getting all of us together today for this discussion. It is quite important that we discuss the elections that are coming up. However, I cannot be as optimistic as some of my fellow discussants here have been. Munir Hussain Bhai, Ashraful Islam Bhai, the Honorable Member of Parliament, Tanvir Shakil Joy. I don't know if he's here, his camera's not on, but I've never met him. But I had the good fortune of knowing his father, his departed honorable father, who was a great statesman, a great politician. And I had some discussions with him, way before he left us. So my regards for Tanvir Shakil Joy and his family. I look forward to sort of meeting you in person someday. As sort of I had very high respect for your father. Having said that, coming down to elections, some of the discussants here have been quite optimistic that there's going to be an election, and some of them here said that they're expecting a good election, a historically good election. Unfortunately, as I said, I cannot share in their optimism because the election, if there is an election, which I'm not very confident there is going to be, if there is an election, and if the election is held under the current Awami League government, then there's not going to be a fair election by any stretch of the imagination. The 2014 election and the 2018 elections are clear testimonies to what kind of an election the Awami League government can provide. And everything from case study-based evidence to statistical evidence to news content, we all know what happened in 2014 and 2018. And that's why right now the political movement in the country is demanding a neutral government under which the election be held. And by neutrality, we don't necessarily mean, especially my party, NDM, doesn't necessarily mean a caretaker government, which has very legal definition. Because the caretaker government was something that was lawful and constitutional in this country. And through the 14th Amendment, this was removed, which was quite surprising, but it was, because it was the Awami League back in 1996 who started the movement to make caretaker government into law, to bring it into the constitution. It was the Awami League government. And yet it was the same Awami League, so it was the Awami League, sorry, not the government. Awami League was in opposition at the time in 1996. But it was the same Awami League. And I remember, actually, I remember the Honorable MP Tanvir Shakil Joy's father, who was one of the leaders of the 96 movement. And I remember one particular, because again, he knew my father knew him. We weren't, I guess, family connected by family, but sort of Dhaka city is a pretty small place. Important people seem to know each other. And again, when I got into politics, I had the good fortune of getting to know his father as well. And I saw on one particular occasion, and this was, they were holding a rally, the Awami League was holding some sort of a rally, because rallies all over Dhaka city. If any of you were in Dhaka in 1996, I'm sure you remember rallies all over Dhaka city. And I remember one where, sort of around that time, his departed father was leading a rally. He was leading a rally, and they had a sit-in. And I just happened to be there for some reason. I don't remember even why. He was having a discussion, a heated discussion with the police force. So with the SP or whoever was heading the police on the street, because he was, sort of heading the movement, or at least, the masses that were on the street at that point in time. And he was having a very heated discussion. He had, that had a sit-in on the street, and he was having a very heated discussion with the law enforcement officers that they were not going to move, and so on and so forth. And the law enforcement officer was requesting him, and he was obviously he was a loud and very strong leader, and so he was very loud in his rails against the government, and he was very loud in his rails against the police enforcement, basically, sort of declaring, going so far as to say, if you want to hit me with the stick, come on, hit me. And the police wouldn't dare hit him because he was a senior leader. This was back in 1996. Today, the picture is very different. The police are ever excited to hit every political leader who is non-Awami Leaguer. With sticks, with batons, with the butts of rifles, whatever they can. That is a great difference between whatever election could be held in 1996 and whatever election can be held in 2023. And so it is well nigh impossible to have a free and fair election with this particular government in place. And again, I don't mean to say I want to go to war with the Awami League, or anybody should be going to war. The Awami League also needs to have good sense. And I hope through Mr. Tanvir Shakil Joy, the Honorable Member of Parliament, today, this panel can send a message to the party that there is always room for compromise. Politics is compromise. It is not a game of war. There were people who have said war by other means. It's not true. Politics is the game of compromise. Because the BNP, the NDM, or any other party cannot hold a free and fair election without the Awami League. Anybody who has good sense, some understanding of politics, knows if the Awami League says they are not going to go into election, there's not going to be a fair election. There's not going to be an election, period. So the Awami League does have power even after they come down from government. But if the Awami League stays in charge of government, then we're not going to get an election. And if we are not going to get an election, then everybody else is not just going to sit quiet. Then we're going to have a strong movement. There, we might have things that are unnecessary and undesirable in a democracy. Because we started off with the first speaker saying that in third world democracies or in third world elections, there is blood that is spilled, there is fighting, there is violence. No, there doesn't have to be. Blood is spilled because you choose to spill blood. There is violence in the streets because you choose for there to be violence in the streets. The moment you make a political compromise where everybody gets to vie for elections, there is no reason for blood to be spilled on the streets. There is no reason for violence. So yeah, I am not very optimistic about whatever's coming, be that election, be that a neutral government. Because by the way, if you were following the news, today, delegations from NDI and IRI, two American NGOs, had meetings with the BNP and the Awami League. And the Awami League Secretary General, the Honorable MP and Minister, Mr. Obaidul Qadir, came out and said that there is room for compromise. So maybe we are going to get compromise. I hope, I pray, I keep my fingers crossed that there is going to be some compromise and none of us as Bangladeshis and brothers have to fight each other. But if there isn't a compromise, there is not likely to be a free, fair, or any other kind of election. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Boby Hajjaj. Mr. Tanvir Shakil, you have listened to Mr. Boby Hajjaj and he spoke very high of your family and forefathers. So, what is your impression about the whole thing? And do you believe that what Boby Hajjaj is still insisting is possible or not?
Oh, thank you, and I really appreciate Mr. Boby Hajjaj's regards to my late father, and I also pay regards to his family and his father, who is a very prominent person of Bangladesh, and we have strong, family ties with each other. Mr. Boby Hajjaj formed a new party, NDM. For that, I really congratulate him, because I think the more parties are there, there will be more innovative ideas input into politics, and we have more room for discussion. Let me come to the points he mentioned. First of all, definitely, I always said that there will be difference of opinions. So the points he made from his perspective, that's his perspective. If we come back to the 2014 and 2018 election, I just want to go back a little bit. In 2014 election, what actually happened? In 2014 election, before that, the caretaker government was, I would say, it was a judgment from the apex court that the caretaker government was declared unconstitutional. And it was also mentioned regarding the parliament decision also. And as you can remember, that it was then sent to the parliament, and in the parliament that time there were MPs from BNP also, and we had a very long debate for a couple of days, and then there was a voting, and in the voting we actually supported the decision or the judgment by the apex court, and the caretaker government was declared unconstitutional. Yeah, Mr. Boby Hajjaj rightly pointed out that the caretaker government actually is the culmination of movement from Bangladesh Awami League. Bangladesh Awami League actually led the movement in 1996. And what actually made them to make this movement? If we look back at the history, it is an irony that Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, is now on the street, and they are asking for a caretaker government or, a free, fair election. But if we go to the by-election in, Magura by-election, and then the city corporation election, and the aftermath, the bloodbath after the city corporation election, which was won by, after long debate and long deliberations and lot of, anomalies were there. But at the end, Mr. Hanif was elected. Then actually, our honorable Prime Minister, that time the opposition leader, Sheikh Hasina, actually launched this movement of caretaker government. And that time, the current BNP chairperson, Begum Khaleda Zia, who was Prime Minister, at one point she even said that only child and insane people can be neutral, and they can head, so there cannot be any caretaker government. Then come the election of 1996, 15 February election, as you may remember. And in that election, Awami League boycotted, Jatiyo Party and other parties also boycotted, but they held that election. And in that election, even the killer of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Colonel Rashid, he was elected a member of parliament. That's the, I would say, the black chapter of Bangladesh history. Okay. Now, that time, then after the long movement, where my father also, Mr. Boby Hajjaj rightly pointed out, he was one of the, main leader under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina was there to lead that movement. Mr. Boby Hajjaj mentioned that the police showed mercy or respect to them. Well, that's not actually true, because maybe in 1-2 procession in the on the street, they did not being aggressive, but during that movement, my father, along with Motia Chowdhury and Tofail Ahmed, they all were incarcerated. They were sent to jail actually. They were arrested and sent to jail. And after the people's uprising, then they were released. Now, then the only time a political party relinquished power peacefully, that was Bangladesh Awami League in 2001. They handed over the power to caretaker government. But we all know what happened in 2001. The caretaker government was not impartial. There were no level playing field. We could see that all the law enforcement agencies cracked down on Awami League activists, Awami League supporters, Awami League loyalists, everyone. Still, Awami League went to the election. Okay, BNP came to power, and there in 2001, BNP was supposed to hand over the power to caretaker government, right? There was no movement, nothing was there during that time. But what happened? BNP intentionally brought the question of raising the age limit of the Chief Justice. And that created the controversy, that why they wanted to do it, because KM Ahasan was once the International Affairs Secretary of BNP. And that's why the movement actually started, that this way the caretaker government will be controversial. And, you know, when BNP or the alliances of BNP talk about caretaker government or democratic process, you know, they seem to talk in such a way that there were no past, there was no history. If we remember that due to they created this problem, there were movements, there were a lot of violence, and what happened? The 111 government came, and in that government also, what was BNP supposed to do? As the Chief Justice, in front of a lot of controversy, he declined, right? KM Ahasan declined. Then, by the law, the next one should be the Chief Caretaker Government, right? Chief of Caretaker Government. But what BNP did? They made Iyazuddin, their president, the Chief of Caretaker Government. And many of the advisors, resigned. And then what happened? There were 2 years of military-backed government. Were there any questions of democracy? Were there any questions of election during that time? No. A lot of people who are now talking about democracy, who are now talking about free and fair election, they were, I would say, they were the supporter of that military-backed government. And they were saying that these two leaders should be -2 formula. They were totally depoliticization. All the political leaders, most of them, senior leaders, were put into jail. And they were saying they are going to rearrange the system of Bangladesh. They were going to make this democracy better. Okay. And when they saw that people are not behind them, under the pressure of domestic and international forces, then they were forced. They did not do it intentionally. They were forced to give an election in 2008. And after the 2008 election, then the High Court actually declared this unconstitutional. And then in 2014 election, as you can remember, there are now talks about compromise. Our league is always, it says the party who led this liberation war, who liberated under leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, father of the nation. You know, the freedom fighters, they liberated this country. Our honorable Prime Minister in 2014, Sheikh Hasina, called that time the opposition leader, Begum Khaleda Zia, proposed that let's form a election time government comprises of MPs from all the parties who are represented in the parliament. What Begum Khaleda Zia did? She outright rejected it, right? Outright rejected it. They did not come into the poll. You can definitely boycott the poll. It's your democratic right, right? You cannot, burn down polling centers. You cannot burn down, you cannot burn alive the presiding officer, polling officer. And it's not a mayhem, right? That's what BNP did. Still, there were definitely less expected number of voters, turned out, and many. Over 150 members of the parliament were elected, without contestant. That was not expected, but that's not unconstitutional, and that had to happen because BNP tried to foil the election. And after this, in 2014, 15, what they did for 6 months, They had this so-called Oborod, and the whole Bangladesh was almost burned down. And after that, they failed. And they went into hibernation for like almost 3 years. Then they come into scene in 2018. And in 2018, they changed their leader. They came into election under Dr. Kamal Hussain, not under Begum Khaleda Zia, or not under Tariq Rahman. And there are a lot of debacle, lot of nomination politics inside them, and a lot of things happen. Yeah, definitely there were some irregularities in some polling centers, in some polling stations. But even if you go to the lot of reports, you will find out, if you compare it with so many polling centers and everything, the amount will not be over 5%. But still, whatever happened in some polling stations, we do not support that. But what I'm trying to say, that caretaker government is not the solution anymore, because Mr. Boby Hajjaj also said that it's not in the purview of constitution now. So we are ready for compromise. Our honorable prime minister that time said that we can have election time government of MPs from all the political parties who are represented in the parliament. But what BNP did, all their MPs, 7 or 8 MPs, they resigned. So now they don't even have that option. But still, Awami League is definitely always ready for compromise. We want that all the political parties come to the election. We have a good, credible, free and fair election. We want that. But BNP is actually putting the nation, or pushing the nation, into point of no return. They are creating the violence. They are saying, oh, no, you have to resign, and you have to give a caretaker government, and then you come to the election. It's not the way, because it's not in the, it's unconstitutional now, the caretaker government. So that cannot be the solution.
Mr. Tanvir, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll come to you here because you raised the main points. Mr. Munir Hussain, Mr. Tanvir Shakil MP, he was talking about the caretaker government, and he believes caretaker government is against the spirit of the constitution, And living in Australia, you are having very, very good experience there. What is your understanding about the politics of Bangladesh at this very moment? What should be? Mr. Munir Hussain. Mr. Munir Hussain, you are listening to me?
Thank you, Mr. Sinha MA Sayeed. In Australia, way is the different. If we don't go to polling board to pay $50 fine, we lose citizen, because I'm not a boy of I think they make the rules from the High Court, amend something, it will be no caretaker government. Clear, this to hear. And Supreme Court also deleted the rules. It should be under government, not any caretaker. In everywhere in the world, even Pakistan have a lot of trouble. They don't have caretaker. Even America, they interfere of our Bangladesh is not correct. They cannot do it, because they have also last election with the Trump. And Trump was 20 minutes for jail. It is a big history. And it is coming in again of that, because I don't know what type of, in the USA, they have a democracy. In around the world, no caretaker in the world. Only this, our Bangladeshi system, it is not fair. It should be under government. That is, I examine, I believe it. So we in a totally Australia and Bangladesh election totally different, because Australia is a one ocean country. They have 151 MP, member of parliament, and 84 senator. Bangladesh have no senator, and Australia have 6 premier, 2 chief minister, and there is a 2 government, federal government and local government. So, and that view, we no need any caretaker here, and everybody we respect, and we don't shout anywhere in the street. I did an election here, MLA, MP, senator. Every morning I put up the signboard in the street. Evening I have to take up myself. Otherwise, police will give me fine. So here is different way, and I cannot disturb anyone house knocking the door. Hey, can you give me boat? It is coming soon. I can't, because I have to take permission on maybe Saturday evening or Sunday evening, between before 8 and early morning 8 after 8, if he's available. So here is totally different than Bangladesh. So hopefully we will, this time will be very nice election in Bangladesh. Totally 52 years of Bangladesh. So hopefully they will be do fantastic. I believe it. Thank you, Mr. Sinha.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Munir Hussain. Mr. Ashraful Islam, you listen to Mr. Munir Hussain, and he categorically asserted the Qatar government is not in consonance with the spirit of Bangladesh and its people and the constitution. And do you believe so, Mr. Ashraful Islam?
Thank you. Though the judgment of Honorable High Court or Supreme Court, that there was the observation that 2 term can be played as the character government next. They mentioned here 2 term. On this issue, the opposition party trying to bring this question, caretaker government, everything. So why this issue, caretaker government? Without caretaker government, there are many countries in this world holding election and changing the government. Even America, White House, every government changes its staff, administration every 5 years, 4 years. Only third world like Bangladesh, Nepal, and others recently held a Maldives election. They also newly elected a new government. Only Bangladesh issue always is caretaker government. Caretaker government is the lack of faith, confidence. That's why a caretaker government. And last time, 2007, this caretaker government came and they stayed about 2 years. Same time, if you think, okay, now only 2 or 3 months for completing his 5 years tenure election in the present government, if he changes the law and new system, caretaker government, and next government or next caretaker government will do you think will leave the power? If he comes one time, our ex-president Abdul Hamid Khan also he uttered one speech. I remember he said in Bengali, like his Mymensingh district language, "Unra to Aya portion." Unara Aya portion. What do you think? Sir, he means that army or ranks, other power is already came, and then that time our all politicians, they are in the home, they cannot do everything, and once for 3 months, 2 months, interim period, they come. If they don't go without any other signal from the third world, Western country, Russian bloc, American bloc, what you will do? And that will be responsibility for our politician of Bangladesh. That will be responsibility for our all party opposition, our government. Everybody will be responsible. So we must think humbly, intentionally. Don't bring the issue, caretaker government. But you think it positive, new, give something and help the present government. Okay, how we will held a new election fair and free, so acceptable all over the world. Internationally, it will be acceptable. Not a contradictory issue, always fair election. 2014, 2018, two term already passed. Let me give some time. The new government, all the old politicians, lot of person already died. Lot of person already in the home, on the bed, sick. So new generation, new politicians. There are so many. Awami, BNP, others party, new created party, young generation is participating in the Bangladesh politics. Gono Adhikar Parishd, like
Well,
Boby
Mr.
Hajjaj party.
Ashraful Islam, we understand what you are talking about. You are in favor of the not catered government, and it is very much clear. And now this is the turn for Mr. Professor Dr. Hassan Kobi. You are basically an economist. At the same time, you are eco-politics subject. So, two are very, very much connected. So being a teacher of these tough subjects, do you feel that economically Bangladesh may face a greater catastrophe due to visa restrictions or restriction that is supposed to be on the way, as somebody have believed? What is your assessment?
So before going to answer this question, I just want to quickly go through each of these participants' comments a little bit and the economic and the political system of Bangladesh. So first, I live in Canada, beside US. I follow US politics, election system, Canadian system, Australia. So there are a lot of developed European countries. So if I want to compare Bangladesh with any of these countries, there's injustice. There's completely injustice in terms of anything. So I don't want to compare political system of any South Asian country with any developed country. We don't need to do that. We need to develop our system. So there is no comparison because we start democracy very, very late. Not even after our independence. So after independence, only 3-4 years there was a democracy. Then we start democracy in 1990. And I feel each country, each region, it has some uniqueness. So World Bank, IMF, what they do, they give some loan, fund, project. So if it is successful in one country, they will try to replicate the same project every country. And most of the time they are not successful. Why not? Because every country is unique. If you try to replicate the same thing, it will not work. So democracy, yes, we need democracy, but is democracy the end of the life? No. We need to create democracy in our way. We don't need to follow US democracy, Canadian democracy, Australian democracy. So in US or Canada or other countries, there are multi-layer government. In Bangladesh, unfortunately, we do not have multi-layer government. Okay, someone can say we have other elections, but those are not that effective. They don't have any power, nothing. So I feel if we have a multi-layer government, it might be a more check and balance. So political system, why in our part of the world, especially in Bangladesh, why political parties, they don't want to go for a free fair election, or they don't want to leave the government because it is either 0 or 100. If I am in the government, I am everything. If I am not in the government, I am nothing, zero. So we need to make it balance, so that everyone feel confident. Okay, I am part of the country, I'm part of the economy, we have to work together. So we have to change the political ideology, not ideology, definitely not ideology. Everyone has their own ideological political stand, political system, custom. These things we have to adjust. Multi-government, so like if we have federal government, then we have not we don't have province, but we can create, okay, we will have like in India we have, they have federal, then Lok Sabha and different kind of, so there is check and balance. So in US, so like now Democrat are in the federal, but conservative has some power. So one party cannot do everything, so there is a check and balance. So a few months back was in a very challenging situation in terms of budget, because Biden government was trying to increase the government expenditure, but they cannot do it themselves. They need support from the conservative, so that's why they cannot do whatever they want. That's the power imbalance we have now. Another thing comes to from the chairman of NDM. He said there will be no election. Even if election, there will be a lot of chaos. So I want to know, if there is no election, then what will happen? The same government will continue, or some army government will come, or some foreign government will come? What may happen? Okay, let's say there will be election, and let's say we don't want to go for election under the current government. That's fine, I don't disagree with that, because we have lots of distrust in the system, and it is created by our political party, both the parties. I don't want to blame any single party. So both the party are equally or not equally responsible for this negative process. So what is the alternative? In 1996, when Awami League government, Sheikh Hasina, not government, sorry, opposition leader, she go for the movement. She had some clear idea. Okay, we want this. This is the process. We want to do this. We have to do it. Now I cannot see any clear idea. Okay, we want a free fair election under neutral government. Who will be the neutral government? Do we have any idea? In 1996, it was possible to find some, maybe not fully, but some neutral people. Right now, even anyone ask me, okay, you will be the government because you are neutral, but will BMP agree? Will Awami League agree? At least, if Awami League agree, BMP will say no. That means he is a Awami League. I will not agree. If BMP agree, Awami League will say no. I will not agree. Can we find a neutral person? And we don't need only one neutral person. We need whole government neutral to make the process work. So yes, I don't disagree that under current situation, it is difficult to have a free fair election, fully free fair election, unless there is a drastic change in the geopolitical and international system. But I also feel that the main opposition party, they're not coming with any alternative solution. Sometimes it feels they only get vocal when they have some personal issue. Other than nothing, there was so many economic, socio-economic agendas going on in Bangladesh. After one day, it's gone. I strongly believe if Awami League would be opponent party during that time, only one of this incident, government would not be able to stay in the power. But they could not succeed or could not make any movement successfully due to many reasons. That's a different discussion, but they could not do it. So now, okay, our government, they said, no, we will not go for any neutral government. So last time when Awami League did that as an opponent, they create the movement. Did BMP come in front and they say, okay, we are giving the election and let's do a free fair election? It was like that? No. They need to create the movement. Where is the movement? There is no movement. There is only date. There was a last date was 4th of or 3rd of October. It's gone. What happened? Nothing happened. So what happens with these false statements? The party who is in the power, they also get more confidence. I hope this confidence will not be overconfidence, especially it will not hurt our general people. So that with this, I want to go to the next speaker. Then we can share more things later.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ahasan Kabir. Now the turn I will go to Mr. Boby Hajjaj. Mr. Boby Hajjaj, you are also teaching at the North-South University, and Mr. Ahasan Kabir, he was once upon a time the same university, so you have the affinity. You heard to him he wasn't. So from the economic point of view, Bangladesh is moving towards some catastrophe because there are so many restrictions supposed to be on the way. We don't know whether there will be restrictions or not, but by this time, visa restrictions are on. And do you feel before election there may be some sorts of restriction in the field of business, trades, and commerce? Yes, Mr. Boby.
Thank you for the question, Dr. Saeed. A lot of things were brought up by all of the discussants so far. I will try to address a few of them. Tanvir Shakil Joy, Honorable MP, brought up multiple points that seemed more like a brief lesson in the last 30 years of Bangladesh political history from one biased side. What he said, most of those things were absolutely true. He was not wrong in the things he said, but that was one side of the story. There are other sides of the story. Having said that, don't be under any false belief or opinion or idea that I belong to the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. I have nothing to do with the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. We're in a movement together right now for a free and fair election. Other than that, I agree with many of the statements that Mir Ahasan Kabir has made and Tanvir Shakil Joy have made about their failures of government. Problem with the Awami League today is, I was hurt last year, hence I will hurt you today. That's not how politics is meant to work. Magura by-election was a very bad by-election, but that was a very long time ago. 2014 election, 2018 election were not a very long time ago. And for the Honorable MP Tanvir Shakil Joy and for everybody else here, Ashraful Islam Shahib from France, Munir Hussain Shahib from Canberra, a bit of an understanding of the 2018 election. So the difference between 1991 and 1996 election, and I'll tell you, these are numbers. The difference in those elections was 2.5% of BNP vote swung to Awami League in 1996. 2.5%. There might have been rigging in 96, there might have been rigging in 91, whatever the case may be. 1991 to 1996, there was a 2.5% swing of the BNP vote to the Awami League. Okay, what happened in 2001? There was exactly 2.5% swing of Awami League vote to the BNP in 2001. Again, you might argue there was rigging. I wasn't there. I wasn't even in the country in 2001. Okay, but having said that, 1991, 1996, anti-incumbency effect, 2.5% swing. 1996, 2001, anti-incumbency effect, 2.5% swing. So you might argue that those were all fair elections. Again, the Awami League takes a stand that 2001 wasn't a fair election. Fair enough. I'm not going to go into that argument. It might not have been. Okay, but by pure statistical numbers, it seems like the same was carrying on for some time. What happens in 2018 was about 30% of PNP vote swung to the Awami League. 30%. In very strong BNP constituencies. And again, I don't speak for the BNP. I don't care much for the BNP, even though we are in the movement together right now. Okay. Having said that, facts cannot be changed by just speaking loudly or spewing narratives. So the strong BNP seats, 50, 60, 70% swing from BNP to the Awami League. Those, my friends, are impossible numbers. Those sorts of numbers happen in Putin's Russia. Those are not democratic numbers. So anybody who says 2018 elections, who sees these numbers, understands the content, is aware of what happened in Bangladesh in 2018, and still says it was a fair election or a close to fair election, I'm sorry, my friends, but you are highly partisan, and having a general discussion with you makes not much sense at all. I am not with the BNP. I am not with the Awami League. I believe the Awami League is a very important party for Bangladesh's democratic process. I believe because Awami League is a very popular party. Up to 2008, when we could do numbers for elections, because 2014 we couldn't, 2018 we couldn't. And again, about 2014, the points that were brought up, not being part of the BNP, and in 2014, I was part of the Mohajot. I was part of the Awami League alliance with the Jatiyo Party in 2014. And I was Jatiyo Party's election coordinator. So I know what happened in 2014. Who went, who didn't go in 2014 to what election? What were the promises? What was done? So let's not have those discussions. And obviously it was BNP's fault for 2008. It was BNP's fault. Because the last straw that created 111 was BNP trying to ban Irshad from elections. That was the last straw. So, BNP, Awami League, both are at fault. What I'm saying now is we need some sort of compromise for the future. Now, why do we need compromise? First and foremost, because in democracy, if we want to have a democracy, we need compromise. But much more importantly, the point that Dr. Sinha brought up, the state of the economy. If you did not see this, we are in a very bad state right now. If it were George Bush speaking, he would have said, we are screwed. Our foreign reserves have come down to under $18 billion. Most of our trade has been hampered. We do not do value-added economy. We do business process outsourcing, manufacturing. If that stops, if we don't have the dollars to buy the raw materials to create the stuff and then ship it out, and also don't sort of come up with rhetoric like America does this, America does that. If the American Navy was not patrolling all the oceans of this world, we wouldn't have commerce. I wouldn't be in the air-conditioned room that I sit today. Now, am I thankful to America? No, America does it. Their foreign policy is for their own good. They don't do it with us in mind. But don't say America doesn't have power and they can't do stuff. More importantly for Bangladesh, because who's your biggest customer? You talk about Russia, you talk about China or whatever, or India. Russia's your customer of what? You just purchased a nuclear power plant for $12 billion, something that America, France, Germany would have sold to you for $3 billion. You bought it from Russia for $12 billion. You are Russia's customer, not the other way around. An economy doesn't run on buying. You have to be able to sell something. We sell to the European Union, to the US, to North America. Don't hurt your economy, an economy that is already hurt. So we need economic stability. To bring economic stability back, we need two things. One, we need political stability, of course. But second, we need the people's faith that there is a new system. The system is not going to be the old system. And anybody who has a bit of understanding of American history or American economics or politics, go back to Roosevelt's New Deal. Roosevelt's New Deal was an idea that we are going to give something new to the people. They didn't. Roosevelt's ideas, Roosevelt's policies were very much in the same line as Hoover's, that the president before him. But the point was, the people believed there was a New Deal. Perceptions matter in politics. Right now, the Awami League government is a very unpopular government. Now, again, I understand people who are with the Awami League sitting here will not agree to this. They're not meant to. So I'm not going to pressure you to agree with me. No. But you also, in your heart of hearts, know the truth, that you are a very unpopular government. And you have the government machinery, like, Mr. Mir Ahasan Kabir brought up this point that the whole government machinery is the Awami League. So how do we change? We don't need to change the whole government machinery. The system is very simple. Yes, you are absolutely right. BNP has not told anyone what kind of neutral government, how to do the neutral government, but we have. We actually, did that multiple times before, and NDM also, gave it to the press yesterday. Okay, and we are going to hand over our suggestions to NDI, IRI, everybody else, day after tomorrow as well. Okay, those who are in Bangladesh. So we know, constitution, we can, if the Awami League wants to compromise, they can bring room in the constitution for a neutral government. But what the Awami League probably understands, but doesn't want to tell everybody, there is still room in the current constitution for a neutral government for election. And we have pointed that out as well. The BNP doesn't anyway. It does. Again, I don't work for the BNP. I don't work with the BNP. We are in one movement together. Okay. What we want to do is achieve success for this country. And any kind of success cannot come without economic success. That comes first. I understand. But democracy brings economic success. Right now, we are hitting a recession. Our buying power is going. Dollar is going to hit 130 plus to the taka very soon. People who have been with the Awami League government over the last 10, 15 years, who have multi-million dollars stashed away in Singapore, in in Singapore, in Bangkok, in Dubai, in Bahrain, these people are going to be fine. But the rest of the population isn't going to be fine. And we are political activists working for the people of this country. And everybody who is a political activist should be working for the people in this country. And so for the people, what we should have is a compromise. America, you don't know what they want. India, you don't know what they want. You can have discussions like America wants this, America wants that. America is not one single body. Anybody who understands American policy all understand American foreign policy has many different tugs and pulls on it. Okay, and right now maybe Bangladesh is important because obviously of its sort of Cold War with China right now. And so the South China Sea, the Indian Ocean, Myanmar, all of these things become important. Economics becomes important for America. But what their exact policy is, they haven't told anybody. And I would be shocked if the Honorable MP Tanvir Shakil Joy told me that the Awami League has any clue as to what the US wants. Because if they did, they would have given it to them already. They would have. No matter what anybody here says, they would have. It would have already been given. So they don't know what the US wants. Maybe what the US does want is a fair election. I don't know. Okay? But it is within our power. It is within our power to come to a compromise and have a relatively fair election. And the compromise doesn't have to be at every level. The compromise has just to be at the supreme governing, the cabinet, the executive level. Okay? You don't need to change the whole government. I know I make this argument that every presiding officer is politicized and whatnot. And, Mir Ahasan Kabir made this argument that everybody's politicized. But then if you look at it that way, everybody everywhere is politicized. Everybody everywhere has opinions. That doesn't mean they can't act on their fiduciary responsibilities. People can, people do. That's why democracies work. That's why courts work. That's why police forces work. And it's not going to be any different in this country. What you need to do is have a change in the executive and some modifications in election monitoring and so on and so forth, and we can get to election that everybody can agree to. The BNP, I'm not with the BNP, but the BNP, what do they have to gain? They have nothing. They have nothing. They have less than nothing right now. The Awami League is in government. So give all the other parties something. Step down. Step down from the executive. You must be confident. Every presiding officer, every DC, every SP, every election commissioner was put in place by you. Every DC, SP, election commissioner, returning officer, police, presiding officer, EC officer, everybody is there because they had a Awami League background. No matter what anybody says, everybody in this panel knows this very well. There is not an OC and in anywhere, in any thana, in any police station in the country who doesn't have
an Awami League background. There is no SP, DC, anybody who is in power in that position without an Awami League background. You all know this. So if you have all of that and just letting go of the executive so that we can all come to a compromise, then why not do that? Why, for the sake of your own arrogance, risk a giant recession in the country? Because if a recession happens, violence is going to happen. That's what happens when people go hungry. Violence happens. And if you don't do anything different, the way money has been pilfered from all of our banks, that's not going to stop. Actually, I believe it's going to quicken, because the people who have pilfered all of this money, they also know that a recession is coming. They also know that their chance to loot these banks further is further reduced. So whatever they want to steal, whatever they want to loot, they have to do it quickly. So if there is no compromise, and suppose Awami League forces an election just like they did 2018, in 6 months, we might all have to go hungry, people who are living in this country. The Honorable MP Tanvir Shakil Joy, his grandfather was a patriot. His father was a patriot. From that descendancy, from that line, from that family, I automatically believe he is a patriot. A patriot's true responsibility is to the people and the country, not to the political party. So I will leave all of you, I'll finish my discussion here, and I'll leave all of you with this one thing. There is not one person here who's not quite well aware of the truth, no matter what you state in this talk show or any other talk show. You are quite well aware of the truth. All I ask of you is a bit of patriotism, where you uphold that truth and try to convince your own party to come to a compromise that will help foster the Bangladesh that your fathers, our fathers worked for and dreamed of. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Boby Hajjaj. He spoke very well and eloquently, touching almost all the points that we need. And Mr. Tanvir Shakil, being a descendant of a political family and legacy of a very, very sophisticated approach to politics. What are your responses? What Mr. Boby Hajjaj told?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Boby Hajjaj made a very eloquent presentation, and he referred to my family again. Thanks to him. Yeah, I'm grandson of Captain Mansur Ali, who was with Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and who was assassinated in 1975 in 3rd November. And Bangabandhu was assassinated on 15th August. And those killers who assassinated father of the nation and the 4 leaders were given safe haven and were given full protection by late Ziaur Rahman, who was the founding of BNP and who are now leading this so-called caretaker government movement. So as a patriotic grandson of Mansur Ali and patriotic son of Muhammad Nasim, I don't have 1 ounce of trust to BNP. That's my, whatever Mr. Boby Hajjaj or whoever, likes it or not, I don't have 1 ounce of trust to that party who actually gave safe haven to the killers of Bangabandhu and to my grandfather. Okay. Now, step down from the executive and give power to who? Give power to the people who brought 111, who gave 2 years of undemocratic Bangladesh, and who are now preaching that they will take power again. We saw what happened in 111. Okay, we have fightings, we have problems between parties, but the politicians and the political party can only solve the political complexities of Bangladesh. Mr. Ahasan Kabir said a very important thing, that different countries have different perspective, in politics or economics, everywhere. I fully agree with him. In Bangladesh, there were a necessity of caretaker government in 1996. But after that, we saw what happened. We are going to give the executive power to those people, who actually tried to, did the -2 formula. Because those are the people, right, who will come to the executive if the current regime, current government steps down. It's not the point of OC, SP, or DC. It's the point of who will run the government for the so-called caretaker government. We tried and we saw what happened. And definitely we need a compromise. And look how in the last parliament session, not this one, the before one, there were never, now BNP and their many allies and saying a lot of good things. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. But what did they do when they were in power? BNP was in power in 2001. BNP was in power in 1991 to 1995. Did they do one single legislation to form an election commission? They did not. They did not have a search committee. Before the legislation for election commission, Awami League government used to have a search committee to form an election commission. BNP did not even do that. There can be talks at why I am going to the past, because you have to go into the past, because you have to judge a political party by their past behavior, by their characteristic. Whenever BNP is out of power, they are like saints. Okay, we need to do this. We need to reformulate the constitution. We need to reformulate the political ecosystem of Bangladesh. But what did you do when you were in power multiple times? You did not do a single thing. I know Mr. Hajjaj is not with BNP, so I'm not saying this towards him. I'm just saying it as a general discussion. Now, there were demands from civil society, from BNP, and from other political parties that there should be a law to formulate election commission. And what Honorable Prime Minister did? She instructed and brought the bill into the parliament. And there were lawmakers from BNP also. And we had a very long conversation for a whole 1 week. And after a lot of discussion, intervention, deliberations, then that law was passed. And first time in the history of Bangladesh, an election commission has been constituted under an election commission law. So that is one step. That's good for election, and that good for democracy, and that good for the compromise. Now, what Honorable Prime Minister is saying, still, if you remember, in a couple of sessions ago, she said that during election time government, as she proposed in 2014, can be formulated with parliament members from the representing party in the parliament. But unfortunately, BNP is not there. They missed that bus. They missed the train. Still, we can definitely, if BNP can have, BNP and their allies have advices, suggestion regarding election time government, or how election commission can be more strengthened, how election commission can have more power over the executives. That is the way to go. But saying that Sheikh Hasina should resign and that will solve the problem, no, that will not solve the problem. That will not solve the problem. Who will guarantee that those so-called, in Bangla we call Sushil Samaj, they take the power and this so-called 111 happens again? Who will take the responsibility? Not me, not Mr. Boby Hajjaj. No one will take responsibility. We'll have another like 211 or a vacuum of politics in Bangladesh again. That will happen, because I can say one incident. Dr. Jafarullah Chaudhry is a very respected person. He was he passed away, and I pray for his departed soul. He was very close to my father also, and close to our family. But one of his meetings, I think in 1 year ago or something, he categorically said that, this government who will take power this time, they should be there for 2, 3, 5 years. because we need to repair the political system. We need to repair the election mechanism. We need to repair the democracy of the government, democracy of Bangladesh. So we can feel who needs the repairment, what's going on, and BNP is always saying that they were the worst victim of the last caretaker government, that their chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia were given false cases, they were saying.
Mr. Shakil, you are supposed to shorten the speech.
Yeah.
Shorten, please, 1 minute.
And you will be surprised to know that BNPs, my friends in BNPs, in various talk shows and in open discussion, they are now saying that even 2008 election were rigged, which was held under the caretaker government. They were saying that was rigged, that's why they were thrown out of power. So I am saying this whole discussion of caretaker government will not solve the problem. It will complicate the problem. I think that definitely, our Honorable Prime Minister is committed to have a free and fair and credible election. And for having that, I think there should be suggestion that how election time government can be more neutral and the election commission can be more strengthened. And the election process, given into the purview of the constitution, can be in a better shape. I think that is the solution. And we definitely hope all the parties will come to the election and there will be a better election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shakil. Mr. Ashraful Islam, you have only 2 minutes time, please. That's summarize.
Before ending, I would like to thank again everybody here. I just give a short suggestion. In this crucial moment, though I belong to government Awami League party is a simple militant, but I always had an ideology like Bangabandhu, because Bangabandhu always self-criticized the party, government, internal, external, everything. I follow this rule. So I think the upcoming election will be held is free fair, but you must, every party, BNP, Jatiya Party, everybody should reform his own party and bring the new person, new container, new creator, new economics, new politician, not like businessmen, not like third-class people in the parliament. We suggest the upcoming election, every party, BNP, Awami League, opposition, everything, bring a new ideology, new honest person, so will we overcome the situation, overcome the crisis, and mentally prepared.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashraful Islam. Mr. Munir Hussain, just 2 minutes for you, please.
You need to unmute your microphone. Mr. Munir Hussain, you need to unmute your microphone.
Mr. Munir Hussain are facing problems with.
Thank you. Sorry for that. I think just one question. Shakil and Mr. Kabir, backyard is the same.
Background.
Yeah, coincidentally,
Anyway,
I actually never meet with him, or I don't know him personally. Somehow it happened. It just coincidentally is the same thing.
But the backyard, the door is the sofa, lounge, everything is similar. Hopefully we will because we have now a national ID card. Yeah, we have a national ID card. So this time will be no hanky-panky, no trouble. And this is the main thing. And this time will be army or police, whatever they have a defense, they will look after that. And we are in auspicious Australia and maybe this brother in France, we are one of the every country one Bangladeshi is ambassador. If we do something good, everybody clap. Oh, where are you from? Bangladesh. Good. If I do bad, oh, they give me all Bangladeshi bullshit. So we want to do something for Bangladesh to keep up our nation flag and nation passport. And thank you very much, Mr. Sinha MA Sayeed. I know him almost 40 years. And Shakil Joy, I met with your grandpa. He gave me the passport 1973. And I respect him. That time was a 30-year road. And I met with your dad also. And now I met with you. 3 generation. So there is also proud of our nation. And I don't want to long take because I'm too tired. And tomorrow is the Fijian embassy. They have a national day. They're also 52 years. And another thing I just remember, the 2nd December 1971, UAE independent. And Bangladesh independent 16 December 71. The same year, but they develop a lot because they don't have fight. They don't have any opposition. I hopeful they will all together to clap and work for good for Bangladesh. Thank you very much, and everybody, good night and good morning. Thank you.
Professor Dr. Ahasan Kabir, only 2 minutes, please.
Thank you once again, everyone. So, just to wrap up, we need to learn from history. We should not forget our history. We always need to remember the history, that's true, but we should learn the positivity from the history. We learn from both positive and negative from the history, and we should only accept the positive things. Okay, they did bad. Okay, they killed him or her. Yes, they did. They are bad. That's why we are criticizing them. But if we repeat the same or similar thing, that's not going to solve our problem. That will not help our economy, that will not help our generation and the future. We have to go forward. Now, the current prime minister, she is in power for total 20 years. In a row, 15 years. She did a tremendous job in terms of women powering, sanitization, development, and many things. I have some concern regarding the development, but this is not the discussion or time to discuss all these things. But now our expectation from her as a daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is way higher. So she should, okay, other political party, they're not being able to come up with some idea what to do, how to, but if she can come up all the crisis time, even from, I can see the Tamim Iqbal cricket team, something happening, she's there, some actor, actress, their personal life, some problem, okay, everyone is going to Sheikh Hasina. Why? Everyone trust her at the some level. So she can come up in front once again and come up with another great idea and give a solution. Okay, let's do this for the future. Her time is almost done. One thing in our life or any living being is true. The single truth in life, we have to die. When we die, what we will take? Nothing. She did a great job for our country for last 15 years. When you work, you will make mistake. If you don't work, you don't have any mistake. She also have lots of mistake. Definitely, her party has a lot of mistakes. So maybe she did not have direct mistake, indirect mistake, or she cannot. She's a human being. She cannot take care of everything. There are a lot of restrictions. So, but we can expect from her as a daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, she will not wait for other political party to solve this problem or the foreigners to solve this problem. Rather, she will come forward and she will come and give a solution. Okay, we can do this. And do that in front of a nation so that the other political party cannot play nasty politics. So this will solve lots of problems. And no one can play the blame game. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kabir. Mr. Boby Hajjaj, you are here or not? just what you draw the conclusion, please.
Ji, thank you very much. Because you asked me, Dr. Saeed, to draw the conclusion, I'll start first and foremost by thanking all of the discussants today, the Honorable MP Tanvir Shakil Joy, Mr. Ashraful Islam from France, Mr. Munir Hussain from Canberra, and Dr. Mir Ahasan Kabir. All of you, we had a wonderful discussion. It was a pleasure to hear your views, Bangladeshis, especially the three of you outside of Bangladesh. Whatever might you be doing, as Mr. Munir Hussain pointed out, you are ambassadors of our country. You represent Bangladesh abroad, and you help Bangladesh in its development in every possible way, more so than any political party has or any political personality has. It is our remittance warriors working outside and helping this country develop, to whom we owe a lot of gratitude. So thank you very much. You have every right to your opinions, as does everybody. That's the beauty of a democracy. If you think, sort of under the Awami League government, there can be a good election, that is absolutely your right to have that opinion. If somebody in Bangladesh has a different opinion, it's absolutely their right to have that different opinion. The facts state something, but again, we are in the age of beliefs and stated truths. And so, but having said that, I do hope and pray that people forget. I know, Tanvir Shakil Joy brought up a lot of historical grievances, and Miras and Kabir kept on saying it is important to, remember our history. As long as it is very important to remember everything, but it is also important to move on from past grievances. Somebody's hurt you. The solution is not hurting the people to get back at that somebody. Politics is for the people of this country. I hope and pray that we can all work together for a better Bangladesh in the very near future, and we can all work together to bring Bangladesh out of the current economic crisis towards which it is fast heading. I hope there can be compromise. I know Tanvir Shakil Joy said, what kind of compromise with killers? Now, again, you don't have to compromise with people that you have personal grievances with, because it is not those people who are asking for compromise. It is the 175 million people of this country who are asking for some compromise. I am one of those 175 million people of this country with whom you have no grievance and who doesn't believe that they need to hold any grievances against you. Let's all work together and build a better Bangladesh. Thank you very much, all of you, and thank you very much, Dr. Saeed, for bringing us all together today. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.
Well, thank you very much. And just I am tempted to say a few words because all of you spoke very well. And from your own standpoints, you try to analyze, interpret, and define the perspective going on in Bangladesh. But one thing is very much clear. So whatever happens in Bangladesh, only the political parties and the leaders are mainly responsible for all these things because of their differences, because that are and anti motivations. So many things take place in Bangladesh. Today is the crisis. These crises are nothing but the creation of the politics and the political parties, who are more responsible, less responsible, immaterial. Material is that people are innocent. They want to have a better future, better service, better movement, better employment. And undoubtedly, those are the politicians and political parties. They promise that they place bound through their manifesto to the people during the elections, that we do something for the people. But whenever they are in power, they're in the opposition, they behave otherwise. That is the main problem in Bangladesh. And I personally believe that good days are ahead of, because we are having strong personality, strong young men like Tanvir Shakil Joy and Boby Hajjaj. And we pray to Allah, you people come up. And thank you very much all. Thank you.